The Bell Witch of Tennessee, a haunting legend based on true events. Once upon a time, in the early 1800s, deep within the rolling hills of Red River, Tennessee, there lived a man named John Bell. He was a hard-working farmer, a devout Christian, and the proud patriarch of a large and loving family. The Bell farm stretched across lush green fields, shaded by towering oaks and whispering pines, bordered by the slow-moving Red River. To any outsider, the Bell family appeared blessed, prosperous, respected, and content. But behind the doors of their warm, candle-lit home, a darkness was beginning to stir. A darkness that would not only shatter their peace, but would echo across centuries as one of the most chilling supernatural tales in American history. This is the story of the Bell Witch. It began in the autumn of 1817. The air had grown cold and crisp. The trees, once vibrant with summer green, now blazed with gold and crimson. The scent of harvest lingered in the air, and the Bell family prepared for the long winter. One evening, as John walked through his cornfields, he spotted something unusual. A creature crouched between the stalks, staring back at him with eyes like glowing embers. Its body was shaped like a large dog, but it shimmered in the twilight, almost as if made of smoke. John raised his rifle and fired, but the creature vanished in a thin air, leaving no trace. At first it was soft, like mice in the walls, but then came knocking, sharp and deliberate. Taps on the windows, bangs on the doors. Furniture creaked as if someone unseen were walking through the house. John searched every corner. His sons checked the attic. His wife, Lucy, prayed aloud, but they found nothing. Nothing at all. The noises returned the next night, and the next, louder, closer, and then the voice came. It began with whispers, soft and slithering, curling around the family as they tried to sleep. The murmurs grew clearer each night. A woman's voice, sometimes gentle, sometimes sharp. At first, they couldn't understand the words, but soon the entity introduced herself. "They call me Kate," she said. She claimed to be the spirit of Kate Batts, a neighbor with whom John Bell had once had a bitter land dispute. Whether it was truly her or something far more ancient, no one could say. But from that moment forward, the family referred to the spirit simply as the Bell Witch. Her presence grew more violent with time. Betsy Bell, John's youngest daughter, became the main target. She would wake screaming, her skin scratched and bruised, her hair pulled by invisible hands. Sometimes, the witch would slap her across the face with a sound so loud it echoed through the house. Betsy, once bright and cheerful, began to wither under the torment. The witch didn't stop with the family. Guests who visited the Bell home were often mocked, pushed, or taunted by the unseen force. The voice would mimic them, repeat prayers backward, and predict events before they happened. Word of the haunting spread far beyond Red River. In 1819, the legend of the Bell, which reached none other than General Andrew Jackson, hero of the Battle of New Orleans and future President of the United States. Intrigued, and perhaps skeptical, he traveled to the Bell farm with a small group of men to witness the haunting for himself. As they approached the property, their wagon wheels froze. The horses refused to move. No amount of whipping or coaxing helped. Then, from the trees, came the witch's voice. "All right, General, now you may proceed." The wheels suddenly loosened. The horses moved. That night, one of Jackson's men, boasting of being a witch tamer, pulled out a silver bullet and mocked the spirit. Within moments, he began to scream, convulsing on the floor as an invisible force struck him repeatedly. The men begged to leave. Jackson never spoke of what happened that night again. As the haunting continued, the witch's hatred turned toward John Bell. She began to poison his food, weaken his limbs, and torment his mind. He would wake with swollen lips, twisted muscles, and a face contorted in agony. At times, he couldn't speak or swallow. The family was desperate. They called in doctors, preachers, even skeptics, but no one could explain the symptoms, nor could they stop the witch's attacks. On the morning of December 20th, 1820, John Bell was found dead in his bed. Near him was a small black vial filled with an unknown liquid. When the family tested it on the cat, the poor creature died instantly. The witch's voice rang out in triumph. "I gave old Jack a dose of it last night. He'll never wake again." At the funeral, as the townspeople mourned, the witch sang mocking hymns in a voice so loud it echoed through the fields. With John Bell dead, the witch's fury seemed to ease. The nightly attacks lessened. The voices faded. In 1821, the witch announced she was leaving, but would return in 7 years. True to her word, she came back in 1828, appearing briefly to John Bell Jr. The two reportedly held long conversations about the spirit world, the future, and the end of days. After that, she disappeared once again. But the legend did not die. Epilogue: The Witch in the Cave. Even now, in modern-day Adams, Tennessee, the site of the Bell Farm and a nearby cave associated with the haunting still exists. It's known as the Bell Witch Cave. Visitors claim to experience phantom touches, cold spots, and disembodied voices. Some leave with scratches or say they are followed home by a presence they cannot explain. Local lore warns: never mock the witch. Never say her name with disrespect. Many have tried, and some have suffered for it. Skeptics chalk it up to folklore. But others, even generations later, still hear the whisper in the wind, feel the breath on their neck, and see the shadow that moves just beyond the trees. The Bell Witch is more than just a ghost story. She is a symbol of the unknown, a reminder that some things cannot be explained by science or logic. She is the echo of a warning. Not all spirits rest in peace. Not all souls forgive. And sometimes the dead still speak. So if you ever find yourself in the woods of Tennessee, near the Red River, and the air turns suddenly cold, if you hear chains dragging or a woman laughing softly behind you, don't turn around. You just met the Bell Witch. Some tales are forgotten with time. This one waits in the dark, waiting to be told again.